Right.
Yeah.
Squeak it.
Sneaker squeak.
Okay, so I'm joined by Tim and Zach of the fantastic Rise Against. So first of all, how you guys doing? Enjoying
Very
London?
good. Yes, we do.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
Good, great. Now, we're chatting today because you've actually just announced a new album coming out, I believe in August. What have you called it?
The album's called Ricochet.
Yeah, I've got my notes.
We've
here,
just
but-
released a song called Ricochet as well.
Want it all.
I'm sorry, what all? Yeah, just released one at all. It's the third single from the record so far. Yeah, and it will be out in August.
Yeah. So what actually sparked this album, because the last one was Nowhere Generation, it feels like, it doesn't feel that long ago, but it's actually been like several years now, I believe.
Yeah, that was like a post-COVID kind of like time blur release. So all of that era, I think, is kind of blurry. But yeah, it's been a few years now. Been working on this one for a couple of years. We've actually had it wrapped up for a minute, so it feels a little bit like having a present that you bought too early for a friend, then you finally can give it to them. And so I'm feeling a lot of relief right now just to have it out there. And it's exciting. It's our 10th album, which I think is kind of a benchmark for the band. And it's good to just be out there and have it out there and be playing songs from it.
So what led you to the name Ricochet as a title for the record?
I mean, I thought it was such like a beautiful word, I wrote a song called Ricochet. Well, I wrote a song with the lyric, with the word Ricochet in it. And then when I named the song, I pulled that word out because I was like, oh, what a cool word. I never thought about the word that much. And then with a song called Ricochet, I thought I was even thinking more about like the word, how beautiful it is. And then just sort of how, like, as I'm reading the news every morning, watching, the news and like sort of seeing what's happening in the world with this, politics where they are, this rise of authoritarianism, flare-ups of far right-wing groups, taking control, that kind of thing. It was watching a lot of little things sort of have a lot of big reactions and like sort of chain reactions and things that we weren't really able to predict. And I thought, what a great metaphor, like Ricochet. You know what I mean? It's like we're all living in the same room and we're all subject to whichever trajectory that bullet flies.
Yeah, cool. Now, there are quite some strong themes in this record as well. So I've had the pleasure actually listening to it.
Great.
And guys, it's really, really good. So
Oh.
when you guys get to hear it, you're going to love it.
Thank you.
Now, there's quite, as I said, some strong themes. There's sort of themes of chaos in the moment. Some complex truths that you actually touch on as well, as, from what I can take. And, shifts in sort of seismic power around the globe. Can you share where these sort of ideas came from and why you wanted to touch on those?
Sure, like the band, we've been around for 25 years now, going to our 10th record, singing a lot about the world, where it's at, where it's going. Rise Against is a band, we're sort of like the musical equivalent of like dystopian literature kind of thing, you know what I mean? That's who we are.
Yeah.
Like what is a dystopia? What is dystopian art? It's art that's talking about like, if you keep going down the road you're going down, here is the book 1984. Here's the world you could live in one day. You know what I mean? It's not about the world you are living in. It's like an exaggerated version of like, if we keep making these decisions, you end up in Handmaid's Tale. You know what I mean? Or something like that. And so that's what Rise Against is. Like what we're singing about. Like, here are the mistakes that we're making. Here's what we should be watching out for. The things that don't seem like a big deal today at this moment could turn into a big deal, and you'll wonder how you got here, And so that's something that we're still singing about, and singing about on Ricochet. I think this is an era of teachable moments, you know what I mean? Like, we're a band that's always fighting for a level playing field, but we live in a world where there are people that believe the world is a level playing field, and there are people like us who believe it is not a level playing field. And so if you believe that it's not a level playing field, you're always interested in disrupting the cycles that keep it from being a level playing field. And so we'll keep advocating for those things, and hopefully find progress. And we're also trying to take the word revolution back from those who would hijack it. You know what I mean? Because I think that we're a band that has trafficked in revolution for over 2 decades now. And so watching say like a far right try to take that word, it's like, no, you don't get to use that word. You know what I mean? What you're doing is racist and sexist and homophobic. And so you don't get to use that word.
Cool. No, it's, when you said 25 years, I was there going, every time bands like yourself say 25 years,
Yeah.
it just shoots me like there. I'm
Right.
like, oh, God.
Yeah.
So we're getting into classic rock periods here, like, but
Right.
it's still really cool. Now, I want to touch on some of the songs that you've actually had as well. So, Nod, the opening track.
Yeah.
I love that one, and it sort of hits quite hard. I understand it sort of touches on like anxiety and things like that. So if there's a feeling you want someone to take away from it when they hear it, what would that be?
Yeah, like Nod is like I think there are some songs in the Rise Against world that are like calls to action. Nod is sort of like that first step of like, let's take a step back and realize and acknowledge that that we share a perspective, that we're on the same team, that we're nodding to each other because we understand each other. Those silent ways that we sort of cue each other, like, hey, I'm on your team. And I think that there's a lot of what music is, live music is a way that we are all nodding to each other and saying like, okay, we got each other. And then there's some solace in that community. And so before you can take on the world, before you can turn your feelings and your emotions into action, it helps to see who's on your side first. And so Nod is sort of like about that community.
Cool. Now, another song that I actually really enjoyed is Prizefighter. I don't think, has that one been released yet?
Yeah.
It has.
Yeah.
Sorry, because I've been listening to
Yeah,
it.
of
As I
course.
said, I've been listening to the record like, yeah.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah. And, it sort of utilizes sort of a boxing metaphor, if I understand correctly.
Yeah.
Can you explain why you chose this? Because it's, I suppose, again, I'm using that word, understand, that I understand it's sort of a metaphor for how you communicate and link with your fans.
Yeah, I think it goes back to just always doing things for the right reasons, and doing things first, like for yourself because it's what you want to do. And I feel like the musical landscape has changed so much in the time that we've been a band. And certainly with social media, fans have a different relationship with their favorite artists than they used to. And that relationship can be amazing and beautiful and cool, and can also be toxic sometimes when a fan starts to feel like they own you. You know what I mean? Like, and they start to feel like they get to decide what you do or don't do. And I think that Prizefighter was a way of sort of like understanding that we're doing this for us first. You know what I mean? We're doing this because these are the things that we find urgent. We're making music that we like. Our band sounds exactly like we want it to sound like. You know what I mean? It looks exactly what we want it to look like. If that's something you identify with and you think it's cool, like come along for the ride. But we don't belong to anybody. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of like a prize fighter is somebody who fights just for themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like that's what we do first, because we can't be true to ourselves. We can't be true to our fans until we're true to ourselves first. And so it's sort of like owning your space as a band and saying, here is who we are, what we do, take it or leave it.
Yeah. I think that's a really important point to make, because I think a lot of bands do tend to lose their identity when they're, I suppose, chasing that those clicks, those likes, and all of that sort of stuff. So I think that's really important because it reminds people why they fell in love with the band in the first place. You know, write it for you, not for other people, I think.
Well, that was my point, is because, originally when you're in that room and you're writing your first record, you're just doing it because you all four agreed on something. There's no one else. You don't have any fans. And so if anybody came to that party after that record, it's like you kind of need to figure out who those people were again, because after that it's everybody else's game. So it is important for us, to come back on the 10th record and go, okay, wait, who are we again? We try to always attain that level, but it gets convoluted a little bit, because of what you're doing and who else is involved. So it is, when you get in that room, it's always nice to go, okay, so what do we think?
Cool. Well, as I said, I do find it an important thing, especially when bands want to evolve. So now, you've sort of touched on this already, but I've got a question, so I'm going to ask it. You guys have been quite politically outspoken, for decades now, and there's a lot of political unrest going on in on a global scale at the moment. How do you hope to influence, your fans and ensure that they have they're empowered to have their voices heard?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like I think we do that through example. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to do it, I think, is to lead by example. I think that we're artists, we're creating art. We see art as a form of resistance. And so we're doing that to sort of embolden our fans to do what it is that they want to do, or to interpret the way they want to interpret, and then use the music as inspiration. You know what I mean? And so that's all we're trying to do, is the same way that our favorite bands inspired us. Like, we're just trying to be another brick in that wall. You know what I mean? Like, just like encouraging someone to sort of take that next step.
I have to say though, I like the Pink Floyd reference there as well. The brick in the wall, I dug that.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Now, walking away from Ricochet, is there one thought or feeling that you would really want the fans to actually come away with specifically?
Yeah, I think that feeling is like hearing this record and hearing it and saying, this doesn't sound like every other Rise Against record.
Yeah.
That's the feeling. I mean, that was kind of like the goal. It was like, what can we do? Like, we can write songs, like we'll make an 11th and a 12th record, you know what I mean? Like, we've already written 10, but like, it's harder for a band like us to create something that doesn't sound exactly like what we've already created, you know what I mean? And so that to me is like the success of this record. And so if people walk away being like, oh, I didn't expect this, you know, then that's cool.
Cool. I'm glad you actually said that, because like when I first heard it, I was there going, this doesn't quite sound like Rise Against whilst sounding like Rise Against, and I really dug it. And now you've said that, I'm there going, good, I did hear it the right way. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, now we haven't got much time left, so I've only got one question for you left, and it's something that I like to call Tales of Touring Terror.
Oh.
Now, you guys have been around the block plenty, been to lots of places. There must be a story that you can share that's just made everyone laugh, that's really memorable. Ideally not something that's going to incriminate someone, because but something fun or funny that's happened. Is there anything that you want to share with us?
Oh my God.
Um,
Let's see. Oh, wait. Just off the top of my head, I was just telling this story the other day. We were about to go on stage. We were like, it was like an elevated stage, as the stages are. And there was like, but there was like a short, almost like step ladder type thing happening to get you on the stage. And Zach was going to go on before me, and we're lined up, we're ready to go. And so the way Zach is standing already on the ladder, his butt is like right here. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, you're there. You know the story I'm telling.
Yep. Sounds like a good view.
Yeah, so I'm sitting there waiting to go on, like Zach's butt's right here, we're all in line to go in. And we were wearing black jeans as we were normally doing, and there was a hole in his jeans. It was like a hole, and so with my perspective, I was seeing this hole like up close and personal, and I was like, dude, there's a hole like right in your jeans.
I'm sorry, because I don't wear underwear.
And he wasn't wearing it, and he wasn't wearing underwear, so it was just this. So wearing all black, it was like a little white hole. I'm like, dude, we're about to go on stage. What are we gonna do? And it was like, give me a Sharpie.
That's right.
We fixed you. Yeah.
That's a real bandmate, man. That's real family. When you Sharpie in their butt.
Yep. I would say at least it's off to the side slightly. Then it wasn't like
no, it wasn't
dead center. That could have been.
I don't think
it was in a safe place. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Oh no, it was good.
I was thinking about we played a show. It was very long ago. I'm going to tell the story about Tim. There was a lip of the stage between the stage and the PA. I'll let you take it because
I'm no shame.
It was pointed out to us like, hey, there is a hole here, you know, because it was like, here's the stage and here was the PA, and I mean, to his credit, I didn't see it either. And as he's trying to entertain the crowd and talk to them and do the things, he walked and it was so clean. His head just went boom. He just disappeared.
He fell into like a 10-foot trench.
Yeah.
Like, and disappeared from the crowd, from the stage. I was just gone. Yeah. And this is all on YouTube, so make sure that you go check it out. Someone's found it all on YouTube, so you'll watch it. It's plenty embarrassing.
But due to his fighting spirit, he was like, okay, he needed to get out. Luckily, he didn't hurt himself. Actually, he did kind of hurt himself.
Yeah, but not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you just see the PA start moving because he couldn't get through it. He couldn't get out. So you just see it start kind of moving, and he fought his way through these huge PA speakers and then came on the other side.
That is the funniest part of the video to me, is that like the stage had like a thrust, like a catwalk coming off of it in the middle, and then these stairwells come off the sides. It was a very unorthodox stage in that sense. So I didn't have a way out from this little pit that I was in, and the speakers were these tall columns. And so I had to squeeze through them. And so in the YouTube, you'll watch these two speakers shaking. That's me trying to squeeze through my way out of it.
Our tech, our loyal, diehard tech, Shannon Gabriel, he went over there. It was too far down to get him. He couldn't pick him up. So yeah,
that was a crazy 24 hours, because we played a show in Switzerland where our merch and our gear got stuck at the border and showed up like 30 minutes before our set. I got food poisoning at the airport later that day. Oh wait, I missed something. The bus broke down on the way to the airport. We all had to take cabs at like 5 a.m. to the airport. I got food poisoning at the airport and on the plane. And then I fell off the stage, like all within like a good 24 hours.
Touring.
There's a proper Friday the 13th type story. Anyway, I do want to thank you guys so much for chatting to us today. I do want to end on a joke, if that's all right.
Let's do it.
I haven't done this in a while. Actually, I did it the other day, because but this one I wanted to bring back in light of the title of your record.
Okay.
What do you call a bulletproof Irishman? Ricochet.
That's great.
It's terrible,
Well done.
but you can use that
Well
if you
done.
want.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.